Despite everything that happened, I managed to get to February. The biggest event that would come, I would have to say, was February's Love Day. Can't you just say Valentine's Day? It was the day when people who had feelings for each other gave themselves small gifts, or what applied for most of us, we gave those we liked small letters, or just notes that said we liked them. Some of us even wrote entire confessions on that day and passed it to their object of interest. As for our class, I doubted anyone was seriously liking someone in our class. So nothing special would happen, and we would envy those who were brave enough to confess, or those lucky ones that had admirers. I was a different story, because I liked Miori, and I managed to dance with her, and at the ball she picked me. I felt strongly encouraged to take some action. I did absolutely nothing for one whole month, January. Maybe this was the right time now. One could very hardly resist the atmosphere and expectations of Love's Day. Luckily that day was a school day. It would be very strange if it were during the weekend. When would be the time to deliver the note? Before or after? Either way, it wouldn't be good. Love's Day was the day. I even discussed it with Mori, if I even should do it. How would I find a way to slip a piece of paper unnoticed to Mori? Impossible. Maybe Mori could deliver it for me. He would give the paper to Mori, although maybe people would already know he's my friend and would suspect I was sending the note. The situation was very complicated. I even thought of not sending anything to Miori, but then again I had a strange feeling that maybe I should, because we danced together twice and we greeted each other. If I were his friend, I would punch him in the face. Maybe should he be disappointed if I didn't do anything? Or how did I even dare to think such a thing? How could I assume she had feelings for me? What a stupid feeling I had there. How could I sense she had feelings for me? I was imagining things for sure, and I didn't want to put her into a bad situation in my eyes when I made up from the no real facts that she might like me or so. Mori supported my action naturally. He liked Kotone and I knew that, but I guess he was far from giving her anything. I have already spent a substantial amount of time considering whether and what to write to Miori. I wanted it to be very short, so that in case of a rejection, I wouldn't have to be in an embarrassing situation when a girl had a love letter from me in her hands. If I just would write Happy Love's Day from your admirer from a friend, that would be fine. Are you stupid? I was not as stupid as... Oh, yeah, you are stupid. As to try and invite her to meet me somewhere or a similar thing. Why not? If that's what you think, not being stupid, then you are fucking super stupid. No, I was pretty proud that I worked it out. I composed a small note saying, from a friend. I thought it was much better than admire. Admire sounded too pushy. No, it doesn't. Really, one had to decide on every syllable, because one wrong word could destroy everything. I had a note prepared, but I still hesitated what to do with it. I was going to take it with me tomorrow, but was I really going to give it to Miori? Probably not. I had no answers. Love's Day. Because I did not yet decide on whether to even send that note, I wasn't too nervous. Although there was this strange feeling of expectation and insecurity, I was a little stressed, but just a little when I entered school. There was something in the air, and I was a part of it. The fact that I even brought the note was good enough to make me feel like I have to do something. Although I kept reassuring myself that I was the man in control. I could decide whether or not to take some decisive action. I had the note carefully hidden in my pocket, and I noticed something wonderful. Many of the classes actually had a small Love's Day pocket on their locker rooms. I didn't remember anything like that from last year. Even today, so I could wait when no one was around and then slip the note with Miori's name in. All was going well until I saw Mori. He was here pretty early. He looked somewhat disturbed. He pulled me over and told me that what I really never expected. It seems he still liked Kotone and gave her a letter. Not a note, a real letter, where he confessed his feelings and even wanted a reply. I couldn't believe what I just heard. So there I am, weighing my options with Miori as carefully as I can, and he says nothing and composes a love letter overnight and actually puts it to 2C's Love's Day pocket. Well, he took the action, let's face it. I was so amazed and at the same time so shocked from this development that I decided I will not tell him about the note I wrote. I would just forget it. There was too much going on now and I wasn't going to make the situation more stressful for me. Mori, of course, encouraged me to write a note since I told him I didn't write anything for Miori and put it in 2D's pocket. That way, we'd both be on the same boat. But I didn't want to do it. For fuck's sake! Oh my god, I seriously want to punch this guy in the face. It didn't seem right. Of course, the idea of sharing the tension was great, and any given time I would be happy that Mori is in the same situation with me, sharing it, but not now. You know, I hope actually some guy will end up in a relationship with Miori. At the moment, we would somehow decide to talk with her. Or you will go talk to her, and there will be someone that will be, Miori, will you be my girlfriend? And she'll just say, yes, and bleh, you are ended up, because you're so fucking annoying, man. It seems now he did what he wanted, be it now a good or bad move, and I would do it only to be in the same situation. Impossible, I didn't know how to explain it. I like to think I had this feeling for Miori, respect, I don't know, so I couldn't be so inconsiderate. Not even for Mori. And so the day passed. Mori waited for a reaction, but he'd be a fool to believe Kotone would do something the very same day. Did she even know him? And so I found it logical that there was no response for Mori the next day. We left school and Mori went on the bus with me. I waited for our bus with Kumi. I had trouble concentrating on what she was talking about because I spotted Kotone. Incidentally, she had the same way home as I did and she even got off at the same bus stop I did. But while I went home from there, she was just waiting for the other line to come. Anyway, given the situation, I tried to avoid looking at her because I felt sort of insecure with that popular girl around. I got off saying goodbye to Kubi. I was happy to leave the bus and finally go home. I guess I didn't pay attention to my surroundings, I just noticed the bus driving away and then Kotone appeared in front of me. In an instant I was stunned. I thought I was going to move, everything just stopped. Kotone. She was looking at me. Then in a crushingly kind voice she asked me to give this to my friend. This? I found an envelope in my hand. It was the reply to Mori's letter. And while at first I did not know what she wants from me, then I understood. And I even knew what it meant. I was almost certain nothing good awaits Mori in that letter. Then there was me. That girl, one of the most beautiful in our school, was talking to me. But this was a situation where I felt even less than a nobody I was compared to her. I felt I was being used as a delivery boy for her. It was so humiliating and it crushed me for good. You really are weird. I felt when she didn't like Mori and I was his friend that she does not like me either now. At the moment I just wanted not to be there. Kotone, she made me feel like her. I immediately phoned Mori from home and he even came to pick up the letter. It was the quiet transaction. Mori maybe felt the response was not good and I did not want to interfere in any way. We met in the city and I gave him the letter, no unnecessary questions. I think he appreciated it. He would tell me when he was ready. And that was the next day. Kotone rejected him. There was really nothing to add. With Love's Day nearing, it seemed that this painful thing would not repeat itself. I was not going to give anything to Miori, for I thought the situation with me not dancing with Miori not even once was very far from anything that would justify a Love's Day note. And as for Mori and Kotone, with Kotone choosing me at the ball, he would be discouraged enough as not to repeat that admittedly unbelievable courageous move with the letter. Why not? I often wondered what brought Mori to act this decisively. Well, he doesn't want to regret anything. We never really talked about the letter afterwards. For one, it was very personal, and secondly, ever since Kotone rejected him, he tried to avoid her and the matter just forgetting it. Maybe that was something like the thing I managed to do at the dance classes, to ask Miori to dance, and thought it was a rejection. I know how he felt when he did it. It was this feeling of I did it, a small victory over himself. Me and Mori, we talked about Love's Day, naturally. Only this time it seemed none of us was really in a position to do anything. Mori would never admit or say this, but he probably suffered from the fact that Kotone chose me at the ball, and my indecisiveness towards Miori must have made him the more angry. I could probably have either of the girls, but I was positive, so passive. This had its reasons, of course. You are stupid, but I couldn't just tell Mori about what broke me when I saw our girls in their bras. You could say, well, what is wrong with it? I technically was their age, but that one experience opened my eyes. I instantly thought about their parents. They loved their girls, and would I want a man like me falling all over them? Never. Besides, although there probably were a few people who would get excited by the sight of undressed teenage girls, I wasn't one of them. Good. Well, that's actually good. That's actually something I can tell. You are a wise man. The day something told me to stop. Now, even Miori was only a girl from our school. Did that, or should that, prevent me from liking or loving her? It shouldn't. My preliminary plan was just to wait a bit. You know, I think you will wait so long that you will finally die. Things change, and I guess so will I. I will have to get used to me being 17 years of age. The top priority was therefore not to lose Miori, so move your ass. If I ever saw any meaning, any goal in my return, it was a second chance with Miori. Move your ass. I had to be more decisive, but also more careful. Screw the careful thing, move your ass! I had this physical problem, but I knew I liked the girl and I had to manage it somehow. You're stupid! And so there was no official plan for me on Love's Day. Upon coming to school, I met Mori at the entrance. I was already wondering why he was here so early when I was nearing the school gates. And then Mori shocked me completely. This person, despite the fact that Kotone danced with me, he wrote her the letter. I couldn't believe it. If I would let him drop off the letter, Kotone would for sure reject him. Not to mention how would I feel when she would give me a letter for him. And anyway, before the Redux, when she gave me that letter, it was the first time I talked to her. This time she would know me. How would that feel? And how would she feel? Isn't it enough of a signal she chose me at the bar and us meeting at the bus stop and have a great conversation? No? There was nothing I could do. There was no time for being sorry or to think why I never told him about, well, me and Kotone. I was not going to tell him. For facts. It would crush him anyway, and I was already in such lies that one more would not really make a difference. Because I considered not telling Mori to also be a lie since we talk about everything. I took Mori to the side and tried to persuade him to at least wait some more. This was my first step. The packets would then get crowded and he'd have no chance of doing it again. He somehow gave in and we went to our classroom. However, as I came into the classroom with him, Naomi was quick to point out that I have received a Love's Day note which was on my desk. I was truly delighted to see this because even though I knew That I was no popular among the girls, I never expected this. What's more, this was really good to crush Mori's self-confidence. He was my friend, but this time I really wanted him to feel discouraged because I didn't want him to suffer Kotone's rejection. And so the break between the third and fourth lesson came. I thought we were just going to take a walk and talk about how good it is in the end, that we didn't do anything and our hopes were still alive, but I was to be proven wrong. When the break began, Mori told me he was going to go to where the 4th graders were broadcasting the school radio. They have a service. You just drop off a note and write name and class, and they deliver it. It is even more anonymous than the packets. You also had the option of making your confession through the radio. School radio, but Mori wasn't going to do that. This was horrible. I don't know, I like him. I mean, he's taking actions, so... and not sitting in a place, daydreaming only. Why does he do that? Was he just being stubborn? I asked him whether he was really absolutely sure he wanted it. He said yes, and we were just about to leave the classroom when the school radio announcer announcing Love's Day message said my name. There were no doubts, I was the only one with that name in 2B, and I was being greeted from not one, but 2 secret admirers. Hoping Mori will reconsider, we were making our way to the place where the school radio was being broadcasted from. Mori had to admit my popularity and formally expressed jealousy. I laughed because I never thought he'd be so easy considering what he was about to do. I didn't know, wasn't he really envious? Or, what's worse, was he so fixated on Kotone that his confidence didn't crumble when he saw his best friend being so much more than he was? It was natural to be a little jealous, and I'd rather see the tiny spark of envy in his eyes than this seemingly relaxed attitude. I was afraid he was somehow hiding it all, and with that note he was possibly going to prove something to me and to himself. There was no real debate anymore. Mori left his note in the school radio, and the break ended quietly. The classes were then over and we were on our way home. And just to crush Mori, after the 4th lesson, I received 2 more notes from the 4th graders. Through the very same service Mori had his note delivered to Kotone. Was I happy? I don't know, I guess I was just flattered. I even thought of not reading the notes, but then curiosity prevailed. I always wanted to be as popular as I was now. I always wanted to be in a situation like this one, but it didn't matter anymore. 2 messages through the radio, 3 notes, this had to be the class record. For me, however, apart from proving that I was the most popular person in class now, this meant very little. Wait, 3? Who else? I opened the notes and read the written. One note was signed from Megumi. The others weren't. I remember before the Redux, I had this fantasy I would get a Love's Day note and find out who wrote it from their handwriting. Now it didn't matter. I browsed through the confessions and I felt so indifferent and sorry for the girls. Maybe they too had to go through it all, waiting their chances, writing and then overcoming the block and actually giving the notes to me. And I am like this. I wasn't going to answer. Still, the most terrible moment was to come. I knew it the next day when I was in school. I had to go through Kotone giving me the note where she rejected Mori. How can you tell? Maybe something changed. At the time I thought it was tragic for Mori and of course that Kotone was cruel. But now I knew Kotone a bit and the very fact that she even bothered to reply was so very typical of her personality. She could have just left it be like, I did it now, but she was so kind as to write him back. And although I never found out before the Redux what was exactly in that letter for Mori, I now knew Kotone probably tried to make it as soft on Mori as possible. She was a nice person, and so I just observed the events around me taking their predestined course. On my way home I was in the bus with Kumi. She wanted to know whether I replied to any of the notes yesterday, and I told her the truth. I didn't. Kumi understood, I guess, and didn't judge me as a bad person for not replying. Then I got off the bus, and so did Kotone. I knew she has the letter for me, and from the few looks we exchanged in the bus, she must have understood I know what Mori did. In an almost apologetic voice, I said hello, and so did she. And then it happened. She didn't do anything. Although Kotone was evidently not comfortable seeing me and probably knew that I know what Mori did, she didn't give me anything. We exchanged a few words, and Kotone's bus was already nearing, so we said bye, and nothing happened. So the future changed, sir? I was thinking about it for just a few seconds when I realized Kotone's situation. She probably would give me the letter for Mori, but this was a different situation than before the Redux. Could it be that Kotone didn't want to use me for this kind of thing? Could it really be out of respect for our friendship? 9 o'clock in the evening, Mori called. Tomomi brought him a letter from Kotone. It seemed Kotone somehow knew Tomomi's best friend and managed to take care of the situation like this, without using the most obvious thing, me. In a way, I sympathized with Kotone. She had to take a complicated way, knowing me and Mori are best friends, not wanting to get me into a situation like that, and perhaps even sensing I still somehow couldn't tell Mori that me and her were very good friends. I don't think you are very good friends. After some encouraging words, I hung up and thought about Kotone. If I just told Mori about me and Kotone, things could be different, but I didn't. And so things got complicated. When I switched off the lights, I thought about Miori. It was strange, really. It should have been for me what it was for Mori. I was supposed to walk around with nothing but Miori in my head, completely filled with my affection. I wasn't. Then I was at least supposed to find a new love with Kotone, right? No! We understood each other and she seems to like me. Alright, yes. But no. I mean, your friend is into her. Yet not even Kotone made me feel that way. Was this over? Was I really trapped here forever? I know I was horrible, but I just couldn't see myself with any of those girls. Maybe I should wait until things settle down, until a year or two pass. Maybe that will be my second or third chance. For now, I wanted to be friends. Yeah, for sure. Make a move when they will be lying in grave. Because I like the girls. All the girls in our class, Miori and most of all, Kotone. Seriously, you will be old if you wait more. I mean, you are all about waiting, man. And that was what I felt, honestly.